Thomas Evans Jr. was an English musician and songwriter, most notable for his work with the band Badfinger. The Ivies. In July 1967, the Ivies went to Liverpool at the suggestion of their manager, Bill Collins, to recruit a replacement for Dave Jenkins, their rhythm guitarist and frontman. They discovered Tommy Evans singing with them Calderstones and invited him to London to audition for the band. He eventually accepted and joined the Ivies in August 1967. His first gig with the Ivies was on August 20, 1967 at the Starlight Ballroom in Crawley. On July 23, 1968, the Ivies were signed to the Beatles' Apple Records label. Their debut worldwide single release was Maybe Tomorrow, which was a Tom Evans composition, written for his girlfriend in Liverpool, Leslie Santon, who he used to date when he was a member of them Calderstones. On November 15, 1968, Maybe Tomorrow BW and Evans' Ham song and Her Daddy's a Millionaire was released in the UK on Apple V. The US release date was January 27, 1969 and the song peaked at number 51 on the Cashbox chart and number 67 on the Billboard chart. In the Netherlands, it reached number 1. It was also very successful throughout Europe and in Japan. In July 1969, this prompted the release of the Ivies album Maybe Tomorrow, being only released in those countries where the single charted high. The album was released in Japan, Italy and Germany only. The album contained the following Tom Evans compositions: Beautiful and Blue, Fisherman, Maybe Tomorrow and Angelic. One of the attempts at a follow-up single to Maybe Tomorrow was another Tom Evans composition called Storm in a Teacup, but this was rejected and ended up being used on a promotional Apple EP for Wall's Ice Cream in July 1969. Badfinger. In November 1969, the Ivies changed their name to Badfinger, and Paul McCartney of the Beatles gave the group a boost by offering them his song Come and Get It, which he produced for the band. It became a featured tracks for the film The Magic Christian, which starred Ringo Starr and Peter Sellers. Evans was chosen by McCartney to sing lead on this track. It reached the top 10 worldwide. The B-side, Rock of All Ages, co-written by Evans with Pete Ham and Mike Gibbons, features Tom Evans singing lead. Paul McCartney also produced this, and even sang scratch vocals with Evans on the basic track. A third Magic Christian song, Carry On Till Tomorrow, was co-written by Evans and Ham. After the departure of original bassist Ron Griffiths, the band fruitlessly auditioned some bassists, and with the arrival of Liverpudlian guitarist Joey Molland, Evans, who had previously played guitar, switched to bass and thus stabilizing the classic lineup of Ham, Evans, Gibbons and Molland. Badfinger enjoyed more major successes in the early 1970s with singles such as No Matter What, Day After Day, and Baby Blue. Each featured some of Evans' vocals, background harmony and dual lead. Evans' high career moment was with his composition Without You, a song co-written with bandmate Pete Ham. The song became a number 1 hit worldwide for Harry Nilsson and has since become a standard in the music industry. Badfinger dissolved following Ham's suicide in 1975, after which Evans joined a group called the Dodgers with Badfinger bandmate Bob Jackson. The Dodgers released 3 singles produced by Muff Winwood and toured Britain before recording an album with producer Pat Moran. Evans was eventually asked to leave the band midway through the recording sessions and he briefly retired from the music industry. Evans resurfaced in 1977 to join Joey Molland for 2 Badfinger comeback albums. The first single of 2 from the first album, Airwaves, was an Evans composition Lost Inside Your Love, but it failed to chart after its release in March 1979. The second album, Say No More, spawned the Evans and Tanzin single Hold On, which reached number 56 on Billboard in 1981. Evans and Molland went their separate ways after this second album was released, and the two put together rival Badfinger touring bands in the US. In 1982, Jackson rejoined Evans in the latter's version of Badfinger. Original Badfinger drummer Mike Gibbons was also enlisted for Evans' band for one tour. But after Evans and Jackson signed separate management contracts with a Milwaukee businessman, the trio of Evans, Gibbons and Jackson said they found themselves stranded in the U.S. without tour dates, food, money and much duress from physical threats. After returning to Britain, Evans was sued for $5 million in damages for abandoning his touring contract. Death. During the evening of November 18, 1983, Evans argued with Joey Molland of Badfinger on the telephone, chiefly regarding potential publishing ASCAP divisions of the song Without You. ASCAP royalties accumulating for airplay of the song had been funding Evans, with other potential publishing funds being held by Apple Court Limited pending resolution of debate between the group members and manager Bill Collins. Early the following morning, November 19, Evans was found dead by suicide, his body hanging in his back garden from a willow tree. Allegedly, he left no note, but family and friends have speculated that he was overwhelmed by the combination of his conflicts with Molland, ex-manager Bill Collins, and ex-bandmate Mike Gibbons over the pending royalties, plus the U.S. lawsuit which he felt threatened his livelihood further. But a factor in Evans' depression, alluded to by many friends and family members, may have been that he was never able to get over his former bandmate Pete Ham's suicide. Marianne Evans, his wife, was quoted in a documentary as having stated that Tommy said, "I want to be where Pete is. It's a better place than down here." Evans is also survived by a son, Stephen. In 1993, a CD of recordings made in the early 1980s by Evans and musician friend Rod Roach was posthumously released in the UK on Gypsy Records under the title Over You. Discography, with Badfinger, except where noted, Maybe Tomorrow, Magic Christian Music, No Dice, Straight Up, Ass, Badfinger, Wish You Were Here, Airwaves, Say No More, Over You, the final tracks, Head First, 94 Baker Street, An Apple a Day, Treacle Toffee World. Evans also appeared as a guest artist on The Concert for Bangladesh, All Things Must Pass by George Harrison, It Don't Come Easy by Ringo Starr, Imagine by John Lennon. Compositions of note, Maybe Tomorrow, Without You. Lost Inside Your Love, Hold On. References. External links, Tom Evans unregistered trademark official website, Tom Evans Library, Tom Evans at the Internet Movie Database, Tom Evans at Find a Grave.